There's a book called After Humans or After Civilization or something like that, and it's about how nature will slowly overtake everything humans have built if, say, tomorrow humans all disappeared. Everything from a log cabin eventually crumbling and rotting to a skyscraper falling apart and eventually decomposing into the constituent elements that create it, even metal and steel. And so here in this parking lot, there's an example of this, I think. And it's just a marvel to me how, like, we take lakes for granted that they've always been there even though they haven't. But here we have this little wetland, which is temporary, it'll evaporate. But at the end of this parking lot, at this end, it must be a little lower. And I don't know where the sediment came from to create the base from which plants can grow, or how those seeds fell there. I suppose pollen and it flies through the air. But I'm not sure where the sediment came from, where the soil came from, the bottom, from which to grow and to provide nutrients to these plants. But every summer I notice this, and it supports these shoots that come out of the water. You can hear crickets in there. I've seen little water bugs. I even saw a worm in there, and I took it out because I thought it was going to drown. It's right here. But I'm just like, when something is so like nature tends to work slowly, so we see it as it is, and it's the timelines of geology are slow from our perspective. So like the idea of the Grand Canyon being built over eons is hard to understand. And even again, like a pond or a lake just seems like it's always been there and it'll be there when we pass. But this here has not always been here. Comes after a rain, and slowly each summer, now it being mid-August, it accumulates to this. And so you see, like, seasonally, a new little lake, tiny little pond grow. And it gives me an idea of how extrapolating over time, eventually this whole parking lot might be overtaken, and go from there. But to see it form over the course of just weeks, I don't know, gives me an idea of what it would look like over eons, and I think that's pretty cool.